What's going on, guys? It's your boy Ethan. Hope you're having a great day. If you watched that last video, you'll know, I'm not going to spoil it, but I just played a tournament and I'm in the same seat. Anyways, we're going to play some cash games here at the Wynn. I think this is like probably the best structure for cash games in general. So either hopping into the 2-5, 5-10. There might be some bigger games running. I'm on the interest list, so who knows? But we're in for some cash because I know not everyone likes tournaments. So sorry for all the tournament vlogs. It's just what I've been personally super passionate and into right now. Got to mix up with some cash though. Hopefully things can go well and we can run it up. So if you want to watch more cash videos, just comment down below cash. Yeah, I think the popular majority like seeing cash videos, but anyways, we're gonna hop in the cash session. Hopefully we run good. Let's get out with a profit. Starting things off here at the 2-5 streets, we pick up queen 5 of clubs in the straddle. There's a cutoff open to $35. Big blind makes the call, and for $25 more, I'm gonna toss that in there and see a flop. Going to a flop three ways of 7-4 deuce to clubs. Pretty decent flop all around, but no action here on the flop. Action checks all the way through. Turn comes the 10 of spades, and when the small blind now leads out for $55, most likely can have some flush draws or some top pair holdings. And here with the queen high flush draw and an overcard, I make the call. Cutoff ends up folding. The river is now the 5 of spades. I've got a pair, but not much to show for it. He fires out again for $120. And I think a lot of the time, I think this player's going to have one pair here. And given that I straddled, I can have a lot of random 2-pair combos or even straights on this board where there's a lot of low cards on the board. So given this situation, calling is certainly out of the question to bluff catch with bottom pair essentially. And folding is, well, you know, pretty boring. Leaves one answer, which is a raise, and we size up to $410, and he goes well into his thinking cap. I'm staring at the board at this point, just not trying to give off any tells, and while he's thinking for so long, it seems like he has one pair at best. It's really hard to bluff off 2 pairs, and after a while, he ends up folding, so really nice to get the session off to a good start with a bluff, and a little bit of aggression just worked out this time. The following hand, we pick up pocket 5s in the hijack. I raise to $20. Small blind makes the call, and we're off to a flop. The flop comes 7-4-3 rainbow. And here, when he checks to me, I have a pair, I have a gut shot straight draw. I bet it on the larger side to $35. Now, with facing this $35 bet, he check raises to $100. And my read on this player is that he seems pretty competent enough to know that on this board, where he has both range and nut advantage, he can definitely try to take advantage of that by check raising and trying to bluff off some holdings. But the issue with that line of thinking is that we have some key cards that blocks the nuts. So with that in mind, I make the call and see what develops. The turn comes a jack. Now he slows down and checks, and on this card, it doesn't really change the whole board texture too much, and I can either continue trying to rep a really strong hand, or just check back and take my showdown value. Anyways, I decided on the riskier option, and that's to bluff and rep some stronger hands that I can have, like sets or straights. I bet it on $125. He snap folds, and just like that, 2 bluffs in, we take 2 pots down. In the next hand with 6-4 of clubs, we are in the $20 straddle now. That's right, this game has become a 2-5-10-20. Action folds to the small blind, who opens it up to $75. Folds to me. We have 2 cards that are of the same suit. I defend. The flop comes King-King-10 rainbow. He checks to me, and we just have 6 high and a dream. I throw out a bet of $50 to start, and for $50, he makes the call. The turn comes the deuce of spades. A total brick of a turn here. He checks for a second time, and like I said, 6 high in a dream, not going to slow down on the aggression. We can't win this one by checking. I bet out $250 now, sizing up, and he folds. So once again, 3 for 3, batting 100 with these bluffs, and we're just taking down these pots right now. In the next interesting spot, we pick up ace-king offsuit in the big blind, finally a legitimate hand. The hijack opens to $15. The cutoff 3 bets to 45, and now onto me. Oh boy, this is going to be fun. We're out of position, and I don't want to just call the $45 and take this pot 3 ways. I want to go and add more aggression and put in the 4 bets, put in more money in the middle to 130. The hijack player, who only committed $15, gets the hell out of the way, but the cutoff is willing to take a stand. He makes the call, and we're going to play a fun pot here out of position. The flop comes Jack 10-4 rainbow. Here we have two overs, we have a straight draw, and I'm going to continue with a bet of $100 in this spot. And for $100, he makes the call. The turn comes the 5 of clubs. Total brick and decision point to either continue betting or just check this one and see what happens. I decided to slow down here at this point with a whole lot of nothing so far. I check, and now he bets out $200. And now another decision point to either make the float and call, or just call this hand a wrap and let this one go and fold. Well, I think I have to play my range here. I think we certainly have some overpairs that may want to start checking sometimes. Certainly have outs against a jack or 10. So hoping to bank an ace, king, or even just a queen, right? I call the $200 more and we're off to a river, which is the Bink queen of clubs. I check to play and flow, but I actually think about it for a long time whether I want to lead out here. Obviously, we have the nuts now, and allowing this opponent to check back this river would be pretty gross considering we want to get more money in when we get paid by hitting the gutter. But when I check to him, he thinks about it for a long time and actually ends up just checking this one back, and you know we're going to win this one. Sadly, no value to be had with the nuts, but for the first time in the session, we didn't have to bluff to win this hand. Next spot we go with ace queen of diamonds. We're in +2 and the player to my right in +1 opens it up to $35 with the straddle on. I decided to 3-bet this one to $115. They're two high suited cards and we want to get more money in the middle. Action folds to this +1 player who decides on a call, so let's go to a flop. Flop comes Jack 3 deuce rainbow. He checks to me and there's not a whole lot going for this board here. I decided to bet out $80. I think our hand can be the best one a decent chunk of the time. And for 80, he decides on a call. The turn is, well, another bailout card. It's the ace of hearts. Now we have top pair, pretty good kicker. He checks for a second time and I'm going to continue with a bet, and this time size to $250. For $250, surprisingly, he makes the call. So a little bit concerned as to what he could be holding, maybe some sets, maybe some two pairs. We're off to see a river, which comes the 10 of hearts. Not the most clean looking river for us. We lose to a lot of two pair combos now, and when he checks to me for a third time, I think a river bet here would be super thin in this 3-bet pot. He certainly can have a lot of ace jack, ace 10, jack 10, and even lose to ace king as well. So not a whole lot of one pair holdings that we beat. I decided to just check this one back, and of course, he shows us ace 9 of clubs, one of the very few hands we could have gotten 3 streets of value against, but happy that I just elected to check back because it seems like a pretty rare instance to beat one pair versus one pair. Anyone surprised? We're playing another straddled pot, pretty much a mandatory $10 straddle on this table, and we pick up king queen of hearts in the cutoff. Action folds to me, I raise it up to $40, and immediately the button 3-bets to $110. Folds to me again, and here definitely got a good hand to play. We're off to a flop. I make the call. The flop comes Jack 8-4, 2 hearts. I check it over to him, and he bets out pretty large, $175. Well, we've got some stuff going on for us. We have 2 overcards. We've obviously got the flush draw and a backdoor straight draw. I make the call. Turn comes a board pairing 4. I check it over to him, and he bets out again for $300. We're playing relatively deep for this game. He's got over $1,000 in stack, and if we can hit a heart here, I think we can get paid, although this river card isn't great with the board pairing. I make the call once again, and we're off to see a river. The river is an 8, double paired board now, and I'm thinking if there was ever a run out that we can bluff on, I think this is the one. So instead of checking this time with our king high, that's probably not good, I bet out $450. Think it's a small enough bet to credibly rep full houses, and I'm not sure if this guy can fold over pairs or even a jack X holding, but we do block kings and queens. But he thinks about it for a while, announces that he has kings.
Sick, you just cracked my aces before, now you're cracking my kings.
So that's not good. He's still thinking it over, and then ends up making the crying call. God, gotta tell him he's good here. Don't think he's gonna fold kings. Shows them, and we lose a big one, sadly. Couldn't go 4 for 4 with bluffs. I guess 3 for 4 will do for now. All right, pre-warning. This hand is a little off the rails. I'm in the cutoff, and I'm in the $80 straddle. It is a 2, 5, 10, 20, 40, 80 straddle this game. Some blind raises, some quadruple straddles. It's a good time. Action folds to the $20 straddler, who puts in a raise to $250. The $40 straddle folds, and now onto me. Looking down at King 6 of Hearts, it's a pretty playable hand and definitely one to defend with. So I make the call, we're in position, and see a flop of 4, 5, 7, 2 hearts. Holy shit. What a monster flop for us with the open-ended, straight, and flush draw. When he's first to act, he actually checks to me, and there's no way I'm checking this monster of a flop back. I bet out pretty large to $300. And for $300, he makes the call, so this is going to be a pretty huge pot. The turn comes a board pairing 4. Not great, because obviously the board is paired, but he checks to me for a second time, and I'm looking at his stack. It's somewhere around $1,500 to $1,600, and we have an option to either check or jam to have maximum fold equity. And you know, I always like putting chips in the middle. You didn't come to this channel to see some checks with a monster draw. I rip it all in. Now it's onto him, his turn to act, and puts on his thinking cap. After a minute or two, takes it off. Considering it's a pretty big overbet all in, he ends up calling. Oh boy. Let's gamble. Can't run it twice in the 2-5 game. We're off to a river, which comes a king. Top pair. Show our hand. We missed all of our draws, but ended up with top pair, and it's good enough to win. Wow. Pretty dirty suck out. We did have a lot of outs, it seems. It's pretty tough to hit that one where it's just a king. And he mucks. We ship a massive, massive pot for a 2-5 game our way, and, you know, this is going to offset the missed bluff we had last hand. Nothing to do but scoop this one in a massive pot with some massive straddles going on. Things can only get better from here, right? With ace-king offsuit, we are in the $10 straddle. There are two players who limp and call the $10. The button raises to $60. And now the big blind 3-bets to $190. On to me now, facing this 3-bet, and it's from a big blind player. This guy has also been super quiet, so there actually might be consideration to fold this hand right off the bat, even though it's super annoying. But standardly, of course, we don't like folding ace-king offsuit without even putting money in the middle, so I put in a 4-bet to $500. Action quickly folds around to this big blind player, and you know how I said I wanted to fold to his 3-bets? He just announces an all-in. It's a 5-bet all-in of around $1,500 total, and this just seems a little silly. I should have seen this coming from my table read, and if there's ever a way for someone to play negative hands at a table, this guy's it so far in my 5-hour session. So against normal players, I'd probably make an easy call for about 150 big blinds, and this is unfortunate. I don't feel like I want to give this guy an extra $1,000, so I just make the fold. A little bit of a disciplined fold, maybe a little bit of an undisciplined 4-bet. It feels a little dirty and even disrespectful to fold ace-king pre-flop in cash games, but I'll do it here. Nice hand. All right, ace-king is not doing us justice. Pocket kings will do, though. We're in the cutoff. It's a straddled pot, and there's a hijack open to 40. I put in a 3-bet to 125, and, well, small blind player puts in a 4-bet to $330. Wow. Action City on this table. This guy's got $1,000 in stack, and now the hijack opener makes the call. He's playing a little bit deeper too, about $2,000 in stack. I've got both of them covered, and I make the call as well. Just never really going to put in a 5-bet, and we're going to a flop multi-way in position in a 4-bet pot. Life is good. Anyways, the flop comes 8-6 deuce, rainbow. Pretty inconsequential board for us, and surprisingly, action checks to me. Pretty weird development, as I'd expect a bet from either of these players, but here, with our overpair, gonna put out $275 for value. The small blind who 4-bet preflop folds, and now onto this hijack player who now also puts in something interesting and check raises, but it's a small one to $600. Pretty much a min click, and feeling super suspicious about this. This player's only got about $1,200 behind, and I'm thinking it's going to be really easy to get stacks in. Obviously, we're never folding pocket kings in this spot, and I don't believe this player's ever going to have a set either. So I'm certainly way ahead of all his queens or jacks that can play this way, and if he has aces here, that would really suck, but not going to be afraid of that. I make the call for 325 more. The turn comes the 4 of clubs, so not really a board or card that changes much of anything in a 4-bet pot, and he thinks about it for a while, and ultimately he ends up announcing all in, snap it off, never folding kings for the same reasons as on the flop. The 5 of clubs on the river doesn't change much, and he shows us aces. Oh my god. Could have had queens, could have had jacks, or even kings for a chop, but really? Gotta pay him off. His all-in was $1,158, and just really unfortunate. Not happy to run kings into aces here and stack off, double up our opponent, but just gotta say nice hand, throw our cards into the muck, and try to move on from it. For the last interesting hand of the night, we pick up ace-5 of hearts in the hijack. There is an early position player who limps a $10 straddle. I raise it up to $50 now, and we get some action going on. They want to take more money off of me from this table. The cutoff, button, and limper all call. So 4 ways we're going to a flop of 7, deuce, 3, 2 diamonds. Here, didn't really connect, but we do have a gut shot straight draw. Action checks all the way around. We're going to see a turn, which is the king of hearts. And watching all of that passive action on the flop, check to me, you know what? We just lost kings versus aces. I'm never in a mood to check. I bet out $75. The player to my left makes the call. Feels pretty weak from him, and action folds around. So saw him try to limp pre-flop. Feels like he's not going to have too strong of a hand. The plan is just to bet huge on the river and hope for a fold. The river comes a board pairing 3. Pretty good looking card for us, and I'm going to size up, and I'm going to size way up. Overbet the pot to $500, and after he makes the fold, had to sweat it out for a little bit. It's always good for morale to win a pot after getting coolered, and this is how we end the session. God fucking damn it, man. I can't help but be super negative right now and frustrated, I guess. Like internally, I'm in a very negative and frustrated state, and I don't really want to reflect all of that in this outro here, because there's a lot that I can be grateful for, happy about, everything, long-term perspective. But I'm just really frustrated with how this session went, mainly just that last hand, kings into aces. Especially when I've been grinding a lot. And I thought I played okay for the most part. I mean, this was the longest session by far I've ever played in cash. Played 8 hours of cash. So not come out with a win is frustrating. I was in for 4,000, out for 29.47. So it's the competitive side of me is pretty much it, where I try to day in and day out do my best to win. And obviously in poker, you're not going to do that every single time, and you're going to go on downswings. And I'm definitely not saying I'm on a downswing. This Vegas trip has obviously been more successful than I ever could have imagined. But from a day-to-day perspective, I really want to win every time, and I don't want to sound ungrateful or whatever, but my day-to-day mindset is always winning that day and being successful and this and that. But bright side is that this vlog was very entertaining. I hope you made it to the end. Please leave a like. There's a lot that I'm happy about and grateful about, obviously. Poker, for the most part, I've never been more passionate about the game. I've never wanted to win more. And with you guys' support behind me, it's incredible. I'm super grateful for that. And obviously with the tournament win, there's not much that I can complain about, but maybe I'm just a psychopath. I don't know what it is. I'm just not thrilled about how today went, the past few days, breaking a bunch of tournaments, and that's it. Really stupid petty stuff that shouldn't be a big deal. But anyways, hopefully you enjoyed this one. So thank you guys for the support. Thank you for watching these videos. Thank you for making everything that's ever happened here on this channel possible. I wouldn't be here in Vegas without you guys. We made a very interesting and fun vlog that I'm sure you're entertained by. Couldn't get the win today. Hopefully we'll get the win soon, but you guys got some entertainment at the very least. That's a net positive. So thanks so much for watching. See you guys next time. Peace.